jQuery is a great library, and one of its mottos is that you can write less and do more. And one of the places where you can really see that is when working with Ajax. So let's take a look at how we can use Ajax with jQuery. jQuery provides several methods for working with Ajax calls, and you can see all of them in this page right here. So for the most part, you end up working with one or two of these. So let's go ahead and load some content onto our page. Our HTML file is a simpler version of what we had in the last chapter, just a div with an ID of update, and we're loading the jQuery as well as our script file. The script document right now is empty, and our data file just has the words hello world. So I'm going to switch over to my script, and I'm going to type in some jQuery right here. So I'm going to target the update ID element and then load into it our data.txt document. So let me save that and switch over to my browser, refresh my document, and you can see the text hello world. So there's actually a lot going on in that very simple line of jQuery code. jQuery is taking care of a lot of problems with backwards compatibility in older browsers, and it also creates and sends the XHR request. Not only that, jQuery gives you new ways of selecting elements. Here we're selecting something in the DOM, in this case, a div with an ID of update. If you watch the chapter on modifying the DOM, you know that JavaScript has two main methods for getting to elements, getElement by ID and getElements by tag name. You may have been wondering why I didn't talk about getElements by class name. And that's because although there's some support for this method in a lot of modern browsers, the support is not yet universal. And even if it were, working with complex selectors is much easier to do with jQuery. Let's modify our code so that we can use a class name instead of an ID. So I'm just going to change this ID right here to class, and all I have to do in jQuery is just modify this # right here to select the class of update. So I'm going to save that, switch over to my browser, refresh, and the text still comes up. So classes are supposed to refer to elements that occur multiple times in the DOM. So let's go ahead and go to the HTML file and just copy this update element a few times. So I'm going to save this, and I'll go back to my browser. I'll hit refresh, and now you can see that it's loading multiple times. So the load event is just going to take all our content with the same class and replace it with the text from our file. So jQuery is not only going to improve what you can do with JavaScript, but it goes beyond that and gives you totally new selectors with which to access the data. So check this out. I'm going to go into my JavaScript file. So what I'm going to do is change this so that I only select the first of all the update classes. So I'm going to save that and switch over to my browser, and I'm going to refresh, and you can't really see what's going on here. So I'm going to go over to the elements. I have the developer tools open. If you don't have that open, just right click and select inspect element. I'm using Google Chrome as my browser. But take a look at the code right here. It's still showing the other classes, but it's only changing the first one. And that's pretty cool. So let's go back and try another one. We can actually tell jQuery to just load up the even classes. And I'll save that, come over here, refresh, and if you take a look at our code, we've got 3 up here, but it only did every other class right here, and that's really, really powerful. Easy way to do something like zebra striping on tables. Using jQuery is going to take care of a lot of the grunt work necessary to work with Ajax. It also gives you some powerful new ways to select DOM elements. I think it's good to understand the XHR object and how JavaScript handles things. When it comes down to taking care of business, it's hard to argue with the convenience that jQuery provides. If you want to know more about jQuery, make sure you take a look at Joe Marini's excellent course, jQuery Essential Training.